Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Zodiac Super Seawolf World Time Limited Edition. The specific model number for this is the ZO9410, and I'll leave a link to the Zodiac website to this particular watch in the description. Price for this watch is $1,795. I've never had a Zodiac watch in hand. I've seen many pictures and other reviews of them, but never had one in hand. So a big thanks to Andres for sending this over for us to check out. I really appreciate him sharing his watch with us. I'm really happy anyway, but I'm even more happy that he did because I really like this watch. I like the case shape. I like the way it looks. I'm really seriously considering buying a Zodiac Super Seawolf, just a dive watch without the world time and GMT function, and hopefully I can find one without date. I haven't done too much research into that yet, but yeah, let's take a closer look at this watch here. If you didn't know, the company or the watchmaker that founded Zodiac started the company in 1882, but it was not called Zodiac back then. The name Zodiac, or the brand, was created in 1908. And it's currently owned by Fossil. Fossil purchased the rights to the company in 2001, but it looks like the company itself did not survive the quartz crisis. I'm not exactly sure when they went out of business and when they picked back up again, but those are the dates they're able to find. So this particular watch is a reissue of the 1970 World Time Automatic. Of course, the watch back then had a different movement. Also, it was a smaller watch. It was 36 millimeter. This one is 40, and that's measured at the bezel. We'll talk about the specs in a few minutes here. Also, the previous version back in 1970 had 28 different time zones. This one here has 24 time zones. I would say cities, but not all of these are cities on here. I know I saw Mexico. Maybe that indicates Mexico City. I'm not exactly sure Mexico has all the same time zone. I don't think they do, but anyway, you can see on here, Anchorage, Denver, all your main 24 time zones here. So there must be at least 28 time zones if the old one had 28 time zones indicated. So yeah, this watch has a bidirectional rotating bezel, which is red. Then it has this inner chapter ring with the 24-hour scale for the GMT hand, and that is blue. And then we have a brushed silver dial, which looks amazing. I'm really not a fan of silver dials, but the more of them I get in, the more I like silver dial watches. And the nice polished indices with Lume in there. We'll check out the Lume towards the end of the video. Of course, it has a date window. And then you can see printed on here, Zodiac Super Seawolf World Time Automatic, and of course it is Swiss made. Let's take a quick look. Let's look at the case here. It's a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. Most of the case is brushed, and then you have the chamfered edges, which I really like. The polished chamfered edges, I should say. Female end links, so this watch fits really great on wrist. Let's take a look at the case back, and then we'll talk about how to use a world time watch. So this is what Zodiac calls the lobster clasp. I'm not sure why. Both of these portions are milled. I don't know why there's a hole in there. I guess just to give you that chamfered edge, and then the back side of this is chamfered as well. And the clasp is held in place by actually these little ball detents right here to those right here inside these notches. Index and those notches fall in there, whatever you want to say. But milled clasp there. And these are quick release bracelet links as well. All right, let's look at the case back. So 200 meter water resistance. There's that model number again, ZO9410, Zodiac symbol. And then Zodiac World Time. Now these are limited editions, but I don't know if they're numbered. I mean, there's a number here. I'm assuming that's perhaps the serial number? I really don't know. Oh, also, this watch has a misprint on it, which I spoke about in the unboxing. We can see where Singapore is at, right here. Singapore should be Singapore, not Poure. Zodiac has since corrected these models, and I would assume that if you had one like this, you could send it back and have them fix it. But yeah, so this makes it a rarity. All right, let's let's talk about how to use the world time function here. So you can either line up the GMT hand with London, assuming that you have this set for GMT time, or GMT, whatever that stands for. I know there's Zulu time and then there's UTC time. So, but anyway, as far as the world time function, what you do, the other way that I would use this, the easier way I think, is you would line up the 24-hour scale. Well, actually, you line up the rotating bezel with the 24-hour scale. So let's say that it is, let's say that it's 6 o'clock in New York. So you would take this bezel and you would rotate it around. Where is, okay, Los Angeles, okay, there's New York up there. Okay, 6 o'clock New York. So if it's 6 o'clock currently and you're in New York or the Eastern time zone, then you would know that in Hawaii it is 1 o'clock. Or if you want to go forwards, it would be 11 o'clock in London when it is 6 o'clock in New York. Or Tokyo, I do some work with folks that are in Tokyo, so, and I'm in the New York time zone, so yeah, that works out quite well to know how far in advance they are of you. So it looks like there would be 6 o'clock New York would be 8 o'clock in Tokyo. I don't think that's quite right, but anyway, that's how you're supposed to use this watch. I just usually will Google it and see what time it is in a different time zone. I think Tokyo is about 12 hours ahead. Maybe that's China. Anyway, that's how you're supposed to use that. So let's zoom back out here. So this watch has the Soprod C125 movement, automatic winding, 42 hours power reserve, hacking, and hand winding, as you would expect from a modern automatic movement. I could not find out if this has a sapphire crystal or a sapphire bezel insert. I'm assuming it does to both. But yeah, nice looking watch. I really like how this thing looks, and wears great on wrist, and that's due to the short lugs, 47.9 millimeter lug to lug. Bezel diameter I measured at 40.3. Case I measured at 39.1. And the thickness, I can't believe it, but the thickness is 13.7. It does not look that thick to me. I think it's just the way that the case back kind of comes to, not to a point, but it angles down, making more thickness there, and it also has this domed sapphire crystal, so it does not look nearly as thick as that 13.7 measurement would indicate. Another good thing here, 20 millimeter lug width, and it tapers down nicely to 16. That was kind of a stair-step stagger. It's not a continuous stagger all the way down. Each link is straight, and they get smaller as you come down towards the clasp here. And actually, that's why I wore my Black Bay 58 today, because it has a similar thing going on with the bracelet. Tapers down. Each link gradually gets smaller and smaller. Crown, it is a signed screw-down crown. There's a Zodiac symbol on there. Again, you can see the mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. Get some polishing on the bezel, just below the bezel, above the mid case here. And then this is polished. The weight, sized for, well, maybe a little bit big for my wrist, but sized for Andre's wrist, I didn't want to mess with that. So 109 36 grams. I would say size between a 6.5 and a 7-inch wrist. And again, rated to 200 meters water resistance. It does have 4 micro adjust on this clasp, which is all milled. It's a nice clasp. In the bracelet, it looks like it's meant to replicate maybe a riveted bracelet with this little step here on the sides, which also carries through to the clasp. Nice polished chamfered edge there too. Really well done. I think I already mentioned solid end links, solid links, and then the quick release end links there. Alright, so let's take a look at it compared to my Tudor Black Bay here side by side, and then we'll check out the Lume here. So actually the Black Bay is 39 millimeter case diameter, and the bezel is 39 as well, but this, yeah, I don't know, the Zodiac almost looks smaller than the Black Bay, but it's actually a little bit larger, so not sure how that works out. Then you can see the kind of the fake rivet pattern here, but it doesn't have the fake rivets on the side. Maybe that's not why they did it, but that's what it reminds me of. Alright, let's get this one on wrist. We'll zoom out, stay zoomed in, zoom out, all that good stuff. And then we'll check out the Lume. Normally compare it to my SKX, but we'll compare this to the Tudor. So there it is on my 6.5-inch wrist, 52 millimeter wristband, and lug to lug on this, I think it's basically 48. Yeah, 47.9 millimeter. It does look a little strange to me with the thinness of that center, the center links, but it works. You look at it on the Tudor, the center link is quite a bit thicker, and then the outer links are thinner. Just a little bit different design detail. All right, let's zoom out, and then we'll check out the Lume here. Those applied indices just catch the light, nice polishing on them. At least at without any zoom, any magnification on it, looks good to me. And it doesn't really look all that thick either, not 13.7 millimeter thick. Especially with the slab-sided case, it makes them look thicker, but there's some kind of magic going on here with this watch. All right, let's check out the Lume, but before we get there, if you could please hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Like the video and leave a comment below. Greatly appreciate you guys' comments and interacting with you. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please just hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. All right, let's check out the Lume here. All right, so the Lume on the Zodiac is not quite how I thought it would be. I was expecting the center portion of those indices to have Lume on them, and they don't. It's just a little kind of rectangular shape on the outboard, or the outer perimeter of those indices. So the Tudor Black Bay is quite a bit brighter than the Zodiac, but then again, it is more than twice the price, and I guess the Zodiac is not technically a dive watch, it's a world time watch, so we'll forgive the lack of Lume on the Zodiac. I was still expecting it to be a little bit better than what it is, though. Yeah, it's not nearly as bright on screen as what it is by eye here. There we go. That's a little better representation. Maybe my backlight's a little bit too bright. So that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for taking the time, and thank you for watching.